Hey you, yeah you. Are you new to government contracting and you've been pursuing service-based contracts via SAM.gov, where you put in countless hours of assembling your team, putting together your responses to those RFPs, only to find out you didn't win, and you're feeling that the system may be slightly rigged against you, and you're just chasing your tail? Well, hey, don't give up. There is a better option, and it's called selling products to the Defense Logistics Agency, better known as the DLA. Hey, I'm the DLA Guru, and I've been in this space for the past 20 years, and I put together a fantastic YouTube channel that's packed with information and hacks to give you some insight on how to position yourself to sell to the DLA. Take a look at my channel and subscribe today. Grand Rising, Grand Rising, Grand Rising. The DLA Guru is back in the building. Back in the building. Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, this beautiful Saturday morning, hailing from Dallas, Texas. Yes, I am glad to be in the building. Glad that the good Lord has blessed me with another day. I've been a little bit under the weather. Been sipping on a little tea. Yeah, this past week has been real tough with the change in climate and the weather. It's kind of cold here in Dallas, and my body is not adjusting very well to it. So bear with me if my voice sounds a little crackly and I sound a little nasally, because I'm still kind of battling this end of the winter cold here. But neither here nor there. Thank you for showing up today and being part of my live stream, which is my bi-monthly scheduled live stream with the for my Brigadier Generals. Yes, my illustrious Brigadier Generals who are members of my YouTube channel, who have invested a little bit in me so I can invest a lot in them. And today is your day, as well as my Patreon member community. Today is your day. We're going to have our scheduled closed circuit training, where we'll be able to talk anything and everything related to the DLA, probably for about an hour and a half today, because I got about a 30-minute presentation that I have, of course, for my subscriber base. Right now, I think we're around 2,900 subscribers. Did meet my goal of 3,000 subscribers by the end of January. We're here in February, but hey, we're 100 subscribers away from my goal of this particular quarter of hitting that mark of 3,000 subscribers. So, for all of those out there that love my content and our subscribers, thank you for your subscription. It means a ton to me. But hey, guess what, guys? You guys are here to talk a little bit about the DLA. All right. Now, before getting into that, for my Brigadier Generals, Patreon members, you guys know you can find your unique link in the community forum tab here on YouTube that will get you over here in StreamYard while I have you in my waiting room, just kind of hovering around the waiting room until I get through today's scheduled training for the general public. And then we're going to go closed circuit to talk everything related to the DLA. We're going to be talking about national stock numbers. We're going to talk about solicitations. We're going to talk about vendor strategy. We're going to talk about teaming, just community development as a whole, as it relates to empowering and inspiring you for success with the DLA. All right. So that's what that's all about. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about today while you guys are in the building today. Yes, we're going to be talking a little bit about, well, actually, I went too far. Let me go back one slide. Yes, we're going to be talking a little bit about the top 6 methods to team to win DLA contracts. That is why you guys are here. You clicked that link. You saw the title of this particular live stream, and I got some action-packed information to share with you that I'm sure will help to empower and inspire you for success with the DLA, because going after some of those big DLA contracts, you can't be an army of one. I mean, the solopreneur mindset is not going to get the big fish. And so you got to figure out ways that you can team to properly position yourself and your company to go after these larger DLA contracts. And yeah, I've done a little research, got some ideas, some things that I've actually employed within our own company to go after some of the bigger contracts. And I think it's going to definitely be a benefit to you today. So advancing to the right slide. Yes. So if you guys are new to me and new to my content, my name is Kiwi Hendricks. I'm the U.S. government sales manager with the National Material Supply Company. And I've been in this space for about the past 20 plus years. And I've skipped my knee and bumped my head enough, had enough wins and some losses to coin the name the DLA Guru, because I think I have a lot of knowledge that I can definitely shower you with some insight on how you guys can be successful with the DLA and to also navigate not running into, icebergs to sink your ship as you're navigating the seas of the DLA solicitations. As you guys know, the DLA is the largest customer in the United States, well, actually the face of the planet. They spend about $50 billion a year buying namely products in support of the defense, the Department of Defense. So they are, a logistics provider to our U.S. Military, our warfighter, the Department of Defense. And with that said, I think you guys are in a great position, listening a little bit to what we got cooking over here in these YouTube streets as it relates to the DLA. So again, I want to welcome you to my channel if you're new to me, and thank you for joining me today. And if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to drop it in the chat, because I'll be filling all questions that may come in today. And in order to drop a question in the chat, you have to be a subscriber to the channel. So please feel free to hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything. It means a ton to me. You can drop a question in there. I'll be fielding questions along with my presentation today. And by all means, please hit that like button. Looks like we got 5 concurrent viewers in the building. Thank you for that. And we got 4 likes, which is awesome. And please share this content to friends, family, and business colleagues, because the more you share it, the more people kind of spreads the word about the DLA and what the DLA Guru is cooking over here on YouTube, that will hopefully empower and inspire other folks to maybe get involved to get their piece of the pie in selling products to the Defense Logistics Agency. All right. And be sure to hit that notification bell, because you don't want to be a day late or a dollar short as I drop relevant content to basically give you some ideas about, how you can find your lane with the DLA. Now, before we get into today's presentation, I also wanted to kind of bring it up. If you've seen some of my other videos out there, I like to talk a little bit about some products that we offer to support you with your DLA journey. Anyone that gets a DLA contract, you will be, per your terms and conditions of your contract, be required to bag and tag all of the products that you are shipping to the designated DLA depots. And that is through the MIL Standard 129 requirement. And there are unit ID, meaning identification labels. And these labels basically need to be affixed to each product that you ship to the DLA. Because if you can kind of think about, if you're going to like Home Depot or Target or Lowe's or any of those places, and you're pulling those products off the shelf, they have the UPC codes that basically at the cash register, they can scan it, and they can do inventory control. They know exactly what's going on in those particular stores. Well, guess what? The DLA is just, it's like Home Depot on crack. That is what the DLA is, and they need to basically bag and tag and have a way to label all of the products that we as DLA vendors are shipping, and this is one of the requirements. And so we offer affordable pre-printed MIL Standard 129 unit labels. It looks like what you see on the screen there. They're 3-inch by 2-inch labels. This is the smallest label that is compliant with MIL Standard 129, and we offer those to the general public. You can find them at HECdistribution.com. That's one of our partners. Right products, great price, goals met. Just to give you a little bit idea for those of you who may be kind of new to what that's all about, let me show you a little bit what that looks like at the HEC website. When you log on to HECdistribution.com, you go ahead and you scroll down here. There are 5 steps, really simple steps. And here I'll make it a little bigger for those of you in the back. 5 steps that you read through here. Really simple. We're getting a lot of folks taking advantage of these unit ID labels. They're 15 cents each. I think right now the market value of these labels is around 45 cents a label. These pre-printed labels, they come on, they're the correct, they're compliant, meaning that these labels, they won't, the ink is, it won't bleed, when it's in certain environments. It won't fade when it's in certain environments, and it meets all the requirements for the U.S. military. And if you don't have the right labels, you can find yourself in a world of hurt as it relates to those products that you're shipping to the DLA. So we're trying to make it a little easier for everyone to get involved. But when you're on this website here, you basically just transcribe information from your contract right into these different fields here. You just fill all those fields in, real simple to do. And then you let the HECdistribution.com team know how many labels you want, add it to your cart, and you check out. And hey, you know what? We ship the labels directly to you, to a doorstep near you. So that's what it's all about, getting involved with the DLA Guru. I'm always adding value, and I just get so excited about adding value to my community. So that's that. And if you want to find out more about HECdistribution.com, you can find it in the description of this video link of this video today. Just look in the description and you should find a link that will take you over to HECdistribution.com directly, where you can take a look at those labels and procure some of those labels to support your to being fully compliant with your DLA contracts. Now, moving on. Today's agenda, we're talking about the top 6 methods, right? In my opinion, the top 6 proven methods, I would say, to team to win DLA contracts. Now, before getting into that, let me just go ahead and check the meter here. We got 9 concurrent viewers, 5 likes. Hey guys, let's go ahead and get the likes up if you like a little bit of what the DLA Guru is cooking. Not even just today's live stream, but just my channel in whole, because the more those likes are, that engagement is definitely going to stroke the YouTube algorithm, and it's going to get the message pushed out to a broader audience. That only helps us to kind of get the message out about the DLA. And for those 9 viewers that are in the building, feel free to give me some engagement by dropping who you are, put your city, state within the chat there. That way I can kind of know if you're here in the United States, West Coast, East Coast, South, or if you're somewhere else in another country, because I look at the analytics quite often, and it looks like we got folks in Canada, we got folks in the UAE, we got folks all around the world that are taking a look at some of my content. So, hey, feel free to drop it in the chat. That'll also let folks that are chiming in here know just how big the message is getting out to a broader audience. It's fantastic, and I love the engagement. But moving on. So the first of the top 6 methods that I recommend you guys take a look at and getting involved in teaming to win with the DLA, to win DLA contracts, I should say, would be considering forming joint ventures. All right. Now, not a lot of folks know this, but the SBA is a great starting point for people who are part of the government contracting arena. The Small Business Administration, and in most major cities, they have a local SBA brick and mortar office that you can literally give them a phone call. Just Google SBA near me, give them a phone call, and schedule an appointment to come down to introduce yourself. If you are a registered government contractor, that is, you have a UEI, you have a cage code, and you're just trying to find a lane with doing government contracting. The SBA is a great starting point. That's exactly where I started 20 odd years ago with my business, going in St. Louis, going down to their local SBA office and meeting all the folks there, and got a bunch of brochures, signed up for the SCORE network, which is the Service Corps of Retired Executives. And it's just so much information. And guess what? It's all free. It's free because you guys are taxpayers and U.S. citizens, and the SBA is a great office to just give you a little support and some direction and guidance on how you can get involved in winning government contracts. I think they're kind of a best kept secret. A lot of folks think everything is online. You log into their website and all this good stuff. No, you want to put skin to skin. Make an appointment today. Well, actually, today is Saturday. Monday morning, make an appointment to go down and just introduce yourself. Have your business card. If you got a brochure or have any information about your company, that when you go down there and you just kind of start to talk a little bit about your company, register from some of the free programs that they have that gives you some training. SBA provides a lot of training along with the Apex Accelerator program and whatnot. But I always recommend checking out your local SBA office. Now, when you get there, you want to ask them about the Mentor-Protégé Program, because the Mentor-Protégé Program, one, it allows small businesses to team with larger firms. All right. So you got a lot of big companies that are out there, and they are part of a database that the SBA keeps, where these companies are looking for partnerships with small businesses that are value add. And I put that in quotes because you just can't just show up just because I'm a small business. You got to have a core competency. You got to have some kind of value that you bring to the marketplace that a larger firm may say, hey, you know what? I think it might be great for us to sign up and partner with through the SBA's Mentor-Protégé Program, which one kind of helps to give a little bit of a paper trail around your relationship with the larger firms, because being in a mentorship within the Mentor-Protégé Program, it will enable you as a small business access to the large primes, the large vendors' resources, also their past performance, and contract set-asides. So this is kind of the conversation that you would have within that Mentor-Protégé Program when you're looking to kind of moonlight with a larger firm. Because one, if you have a set socioeconomic distinction with your company, that is your 8A or you may be HUBZone certified. You may be service available veteran-owned certified. I'm not so sure that the woman-owned distinction is going to benefit you in today's, administration because of the fall of DEI. But hey, there still may be some opportunities just for, a company still may be interested in partnering with you because you are a woman-owned business. So those are some of the things you can think about when you're talking with SBA officials and trying to position your company to be set up to have a shot at having a conversation with a larger firm. And also, you can bid on DLA contracts as a single entity. All right, this is key. Like with my top 6 methods, this first one is, this is in no order of priority, but I kind of like this one because whenever you're thinking about teaming for larger DLA contracts, being able to team as a single entity is fantastic, because now you guys have a paper trail as through like what this joint venture is all about. You know exactly what your your requirements or what your duties will be in support of a large federal contract, and that's all can be backed up because you have the backing by the SBA that only gives the contracting officers a more of a feeling of that. Yeah, okay, cool. This is all above board. This is all legit. Let's go ahead and award that contract to this JV team. All right, so that's my very first method to team to win DLA contracts. Let's see, we got some. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the comments here. We got a comment coming in. We got Tina. We give her a round of applause. Tina is the very first comment, and looks like you're a new member to the channel as well. Thank you for your membership, Tina. I really appreciate that. It doesn't seem like your comment has the little icon. Maybe it takes a little while because it looks like you became a member late last night. So thank you again. And you are hailing from North Little Rock, Arkansas. All right, fantastic, Tina. Well, thank you for chiming in and letting us know where you are. Looks like we got 9 concurrent viewers in the building. We got 6 likes. Hey, guys, let's get those likes up. And while you're, just like what Tina just did, she's let us know she's from North Little Rock. Let us know where you're hailing from, because that only just kind of gets the conversation going in the chat, because you never know. You may find another potential DLA contractor that's in a neighborhood near you, and you guys might be able to find a way to kind of connect and have a cup of coffee. Who knows where it may take you. This is all part of this whole methodology about teaming to win. You have to connect, you have to communicate, you have to take a chance and network in order to team. This is a kind of the proving ground for that, right? All right, we got Richard Mills in the building. Thank you, Richard. I really appreciate that. He's hailing from Terry Mills, Lake City, Florida. All right, fantastic. It looks like Richard is also a member of the channel as well. Hey, Richard, I appreciate your membership. Go to give you a round of applause as well. All right, thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you for being a part of the community and also engaging, man. I really appreciate that. Okay, moving on, because you guys are like, DLA Guru, get to the point. Guys, I get so excited when I'm in this space. I just love, man, to just connect with people and to just help as many people as I possibly can. But number 2 of my top 6 methods, you want to establish a prime/subcontractor relationship. All right, so what I mean by that, as you're doing your JVs, you want to make sure you have a clear line of, like who's the prime and who's going to be the subcontractor in this. The prime is basically whenever the award comes from the DLA, whoever is whichever company the contract is awarded to is considered the prime contractor. And your subcontractors are your teammates that are teaming companies that you will be working with in order to fulfill the requirements of that contract, right? Now, the reason why it's great to us are going to fulfill different aspects of the contract, and the subcontractor will fulfill different aspects of the contract. All right, and some of those aspects are typically the prime manages the overall contract, so the responsibility falls on the contract. If the contract schedule is delayed, that's the prime's responsibility. If the contract fails, it's the prime's responsibility. If the contract is successful, that's the prime contractor's responsibility. So all of that weight and that risk falls on the prime. So it's important as a prime to make sure that you are partnering, teaming with subcontractors that you know, like, and trust, because you guys together are going to be able to execute on those contracts and make money together. All right, so that's important. Subcontractors typically They will handle the manufacturing of the products that are part of the contract requirement. They're going to handle the logistics and or the distribution. That is like, how you're going to inventory those products and the delivery schedule of those products. But that's where you have that engagement between your prime and subcontractor relationship, and make sure that you pay your subcontractors as well, because a lot of times your subcontractors are doing the heavy lifting, although you as a prime are doing heavy lifting in that respect as well, because you're the face of the contract. You have to communicate with the customer, that is the Defense Logistics Agency or the federal government. You're going to have to be responsible for signing off on those contracts, all the warranty and things like that goes along with it. You're going to have your ducks in a row, because if something goes wrong, it's going to fall on your shoulders as a prime. So a lot of times subcontractors kind of like to take a little bit of that heat. They don't want the heat in the kitchen on them. So you can find great relationships where you can have that dialogue, and you guys can ink a deal and have something where you can go after a larger contract within with the DLA and just the all of government, just the federal government at large. So those are my first two methods to properly team to win DLA contracts. And and one more point, I almost forgot this point. You also allow smaller firms, that is smaller firms like us, to contribute without taking on the full contract burden. So I kind of said that already. I just kind of forgot the bullet point, but yeah, having these types of relationships, it just kind of takes the risk and spreads the risk over multiple firms, so that's kind of what that relationship is all about. All right. So think of it from that perspective. All right. Now, number 3 of my top 6 methods to team to win larger DLA contracts. And when I'm talking about larger DLA contracts, I'm talking about $50,000 and up. Well, actually, 50,000 is probably not that huge of a contract. But if you're getting to the 6-figure type contract opportunities with the DLA, being able to team to go after that, to leverage your financing, to leverage all that is just a great way that you can kind of tackle those larger contracts. All right. So number 3. You want to create a strategic partnership or a consortium. And that's some of the work that I'm doing here on YouTube, as well as within some of the communities that I'm creating, that having a consortium where you can literally, start to have a conversation and start to understand who the stakeholders are within your consortium. Which companies have the ability to do, let's say, the manufacturing, which companies are really good at logistics, which companies are good at packaging, which companies are good at sourcing, who has the connect, because a lot of business is all about connections. It's about networking and understanding, your core competency, your core capabilities, and then you coming together like Voltron. I don't know if you guys remember in the 80s, the cartoon Voltron, right? You had all the different lines. You had the 5 lines that came together and formed this massive robot that was able to defend the universe, right? So think of your company like that. You're a blue line, the yellow line, the red line, the green line, the black line, for those of you who may have been Voltron fanatics. But that is really what this is really all about. That's just a very colorful illustration to just think about, being able to find and leverage the competencies, right? And you do that in consortiums. The way that, I'm looking to do it, the way that we've done it, and the way I'm looking to, I should say, expand it, is by looking to engage with formal, formal teaming arrangements, and having those agreements in place. That is like manufacturing license agreements. You want to have your non-disclosure agreements in place. You want to have your memorandums of understanding, your MO, which is a MOU, or you want to have an MOA, which is a memorandum of agreement. Have a paper trail around the relationship that you're trying to create with key stakeholders within this strategic partnership. Excuse me again. I told you guys I'm a little under the weather, got a cold. Let me go take a sip of my tea here. Hold on. But just bear with me. Got a lot to get through, and it's hard to talk. But hey, guys, I want to make sure I show up, even though I'm kind of sweating over here with my cold. But this is a testament of my commitment to you, my community, and trying to give you guys as much as I can to get you, hitting the ground running for your success with the DLA, right? So, but anyway, so by doing this, like the Voltron illustration, you're combining your capabilities to jointly bid on contracts. So think about, it's just leverage. You're hedging and the leverage of having you not just be the only company. All right. Another thing, consortiums can specialize in different parts of the supply process. That's kind of like from point number 2, where you just look at what your core capability is. It looks like we have a question that just popped up, and I think this is kind of cool. Let's see. Tina says, well, where do you find subcontractors? Subcontractors that, you source them, so it's first you can check Google is a great place. You can just kind of Google that. There's a video that I have in my catalog about the Thomas registers, Tina. You can go on Thomas, I think it's called Thomas. Yeah, if you Google Thomas registers, just Google that. There's a website that you can go on. I think it's ThomasNet or something. And then there's a whole bunch of American manufacturers that are showcased on their website, where there's just a plethora of opportunities where you can find subcontractors to help you towards bigger contracting opportunities with the DLA. All right. And Tina says, what does your company charge to help with contracting? Oh yeah. Hey, Tina, part of my consortium, and again, the conversation that we're having, once you get into the community and it's not really about a charge. It's really about just getting involved in the conversation. And of course, we have training programs in place, and, I do a lot of consulting and that kind of stuff, but I'm really looking for you guys to kind of work together within the community that I'm building in order to find a lane and find a friend within the consortium where you guys may be able to form like Voltron, right? But so, as time goes on, we'll be talking a lot more about how I'm really pulling that together, because that is my myopic focus this year, and really building this community, this consortium. That is, as you can see in the big letters there, the DLA Vendor Network. We're really trying to put this together, because right now, team, it does not exist. And so if it doesn't exist, guess what? Let's build it. And I think I have some great ideas. Today's live stream is really about some of those ideas to kind of stimulate the conversation as you consider joining the DLA Vendor Network, right? Also, you want to consider, through these strategic partnerships in this consortium, sourcing and supplying large quantities of materials, because a lot of times, your company may only be able to handle so much of the financing as it relates to these contracts, right? So by teaming, now you have, instead of one bank account, you got 2 bank accounts, or you can leverage, the ability to go after larger loans, or by having a joint venture. When you go to an OEM, they can see, okay, cool. This one small business has leverage, because it's not just them that we're going to be working with. So that risk is spread, for something that may go wrong for these larger contracts, you can spread it over multiple players within it. That seems to lower the risk for OEMs to extend a line of credit to your company, in support of some of these larger quantity of material contracts. There's just some thoughts, some things to think about. Number four, as it relates to, the top 6 methods, the HUBZone and or 8A program is, the fantastic programs that are in place. I say they're DEI. They have a resistance to DEI in that, because they are not part of, anything dealing with gender or anything dealing with race. This is all about the stimulation of the economy by finding companies that have been vetted and are in areas. For example, with the HUBZone program, you are in a historically underutilized business zone. The federal government loves HUBZone companies because it's about getting tax dollars within an organization that hires companies from depressed areas in major cities. Because once you get you get the kind of the commerce flowing into that, you get currency flowing into it, stimulates that economy, and things start to look a little better. Trash gets to get picked up, buildings get to get fixed up, and people are employed. So that only supports the GDP, right, of the United States. Whenever failing cities or ailing cities are stimulated by federal tax dollars, that's a benefit. So the HUBZone program is a fantastic program to be involved with, right? And also with the 8A program. 8A program is for economically disadvantaged firms. And so it's very similar to that of the HUBZone program, but it doesn't necessarily mean of your actual location. It just really means about, your company being a small, economically disadvantaged because of circumstances that are out of your control. And that's what the 8A program is really all about, giving those companies an opportunity. So if you can find those types of companies to partner with and have those companies be a lead partner, they give a competitive advantage within the federal procurement arena, where federal agencies or these contracting officers are looking to award contracts to HUBZone companies and 8A firms because of these factors. It means a lot with the stimulation of the U.S. economy. So if you can have those guys be a lead partner, and then you knocking on a HUBZone company's door or 8A company's door and saying, hey, me as a small business, I'm not HUBZone, I'm not 8A, or I'm not service disabled vet, but hey, this is my core capability, my core competency, how I can potentially add value to an overall bigger contract. And then saying, hey, if you guys be the prime and we could be a subcontractor to you, well, can provide you access to those set aside contracts as well. So don't think of it like, oh man, I can't bid on the 8A or a HUBZone contract because I'm not that. Well, go knock on your SBA's door, your local SBA's door, and say, hey, are there any HUBZone companies in my backyard here in my city? Are there 8A companies in my city? I'd like to get a list of those companies, because the SBA has a registration of who those companies are, and they will deliver that information to you, where you'll get, the name of the company, maybe a potential email address. And guess what, guys? You can find a lot of these companies, Tina, to your point, through the SBA's dynamic search database, a small business database. It's the DSBS, I think. It's the Dynamic Small Business Search Database that the SBA has. It's an online portal where you can literally go in there and type in keywords and city and zip codes and things, and you can get a list of companies that are in your backyard that may be HUBZone certified, 8A certified, or service disabled veteran owned certified, where you can reach out to them and say, hey, I'd like to do a capability brief with you guys. With your schedule and our schedule, let's line up and let's talk a little bit about your company and my company, because I think by looking at your website, I think that there may be some synergies that we may be able to team and going after bigger contracts, not only with the DLA, but other federal government agencies. All right. Hey, just a thought, right? So those types of companies, our company, we're HUBZone certified, for example. So I'm always interested in talking to other businesses that can come to the table with some value that they can add and say, hey, this is a HUBZone contract that we can't bid on. Hey, Kiwi, your company is HUBZone. So, maybe let's have a discussion about how we can slice and dice this contract up, where we can prove value for your company as a prime and our company as a subcontractor, and go after this particular contract vehicle together. All right. So those are just some ideas of how you can team, but it all starts with a conversation. It starts with you extending your hand. You have to extend your hand out. All right. You got to put skin to skin, or set up a call, set up a Zoom call, set up a Teams meeting, and start to have the conversation. All right. So there's just some thoughts there. All right. And also, their entire team may qualify by having this joint venture. The entire team may qualify for set-asides, increasing the likelihood of winning the large contracts, right? So I'm just kind of putting what I'm saying verbally on the screen, just to kind of get your mind thinking a little bit about, what that looks like. All right. Looks like we got 11 viewers in the building and 8 likes. All right. Appreciate that. So we got a couple of, 11 concurrent viewers. Hey, for all those new viewers that are just chimed in with us, please let us know your city and state that you're hailing from. Looks like we got Tina from North Little Rock, and we got Richard Mills from Lake City, Lake City, Florida. Yeah. Oh, no, not Terry Mills, Lake City, Florida. Lake City, Florida is the city. All right, I read that wrong earlier. But yeah, hey, so for those of you that are chiming in, let us know where you're hailing from, because it's pretty awesome to know that. All right, hey, looks like we got some Brigadier generals and some Patreon members entering into the chat. So guys, I'm going to kind of breeze through this a little bit, because I've kind of overtalked myself. I get so excited. But we got a couple of questions here. We got Clarity 3000. It says, how does the DLA decide which contracts is set aside? Hey, that's a fantastic question. I was in the TK, one of the DLA's TKOs this year, And I actually posed the same exact question because I was really curious about how the DLA does that. And they say it literally, there's no rhyme or reason to how they do it. I think it could be potentially a lottery, because when I posed the question in the TKO, I didn't really get a definitive answer if they had a percentage of contracts that they earmarked, because we've bid on HUBZone contracts and won HUBZone contracts for certain NSNs, and then when they got resolicited, they weren't no longer HUBZone. So my thought was, well, if it was in the HUBZone program, why'd you pull it out and make it unrestricted or make it total small business? Why not keep it in the HUBZone program? Because we can perform against it. But that happens. The DLA just kind of reshuffles the deck from time to time. All right. And let me keep going through some of these points here, because I got 6 points to share with you, and I'm only on point number 4. So let me go ahead and throw in here number five. You want to leverage what's called the BPAs. That acronym stands for Blanket Purchase Order Agreements, and or IDIQs, which is indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contract vehicles. All right. So leveraging those bigger those longer term contract vehicles can sometimes help with the teaming aspect of going after these particular contracts, in that if you're finding these especially the indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contracts, they're typically 1 year base contracts with option renewal periods upwards of 3 to 5 years out, depending on how the contract is written and how it's all set up. And so being able to team as a partner and subcontractor with manufacturers and other vendors within the supply chain can definitely have a lot of companies like long-term contracts. A lot of these OEMs don't like the onesie twosies. If you're going after those longer term deals, that's when you can add a lot of value to those companies, because they know that this is something that it's going to be a long-term relationship. All right. Multiple small businesses can team to win BPAs or IDIQs. Again, long-term DLA supply contracts together. And, today's presentation is not really going to get into the nuts and bolts of how you can team, but just to kind of get the conversation, get you thinking about those IDIQ type contracts that are out there. And you can find a whole hell of a lot of BPAs on SAM.gov as well. Those blanket purchase order agreements. We've had a lot of those types of contracts over the years, and they have been fairly lucrative when you have those types of vehicles in place. But there's also a little risk there too, because price of tea in China doesn't stay the same. And so you have to know how to basically put your factors of safety in there, and how to negotiate with your vendors to make sure that you can lock in prices and have, be able to have that wiggle room when the price of steel or the price of aluminum goes up and down, or the price of petroleum goes up and down, for those types of products that may be manufactured, 2 or 3 years out. All right, cool. You want to allow for flexible order fulfillment, going through these, utilizing these long-term contract vehicles, where there are multiple suppliers can contribute to meeting the contract requirements. Again, all the weight doesn't fall on you. Let's say you as a vendor, you get this contract and you want to find some other vendors that can maybe put a little bit into the pot, that is, put some financing into the pot. They may have a way to let's say your warehouse is only 4,000 square foot and you don't have enough space. So having another vendor that has a warehouse as well that can store some of these products for the long-term contracts is kind of how you want to think about that, to reduce the storage costs by having vendors that can contribute and be a part of that contract vehicle. All right. Let's see. Methods. Okay. This method is especially effective for commodities, spare parts, and consumable supplies. And again, those are all the things that the DLA is buying. They're buying. All these points are really linking right back to the DLA, because that's what they're doing. Consumable supplies, meaning they buy it over and over and over again, because once it's used up, they have to go and buy it. Once it breaks down, they have to go buy it, like gaskets and O-rings. Those things go bad. I don't know if you guys have ever had to get your car engine, the gaskets redone in your engine in your car, because the gaskets, through wear and tear and heat and cold and pressure and oil and all this good stuff, those materials break down and have to be reinstalled, whenever they go for an overhaul for military vehicles. So it's always great to kind of look from that perspective of how can we, focus in on the bigger consumable supply contracts, and then team to go after that to win. All right. And number six, because guys, I'm kind of speeding this up a little bit because we're getting close to the end of this. You want to seek GovCon coaching and training is by far, in my opinion, the best way. Tina was asking questions about subcontractors and, what are your costs for consulting? Well, the first thing is, yeah, you want to seek it. You want to reach out to me. And Tina, I would suggest, sending me an email. You can reach me at fed.contracting@nmsupply.com. But also, another way you can reach me is by joining our DLA Vendor Network. All right, the DLA Vendor Network. And you may say, well, DLA Guru, how do I join it? You find me over on LinkedIn. All you do is go over in LinkedIn. You just put in there at the DLA Guru, as you see on screen on LinkedIn. You find me over on LinkedIn and you just request to join my DLA Vendor Network. Now, keep in mind, it's by members, it's by invite only. And so, I'm not letting just any company into the network. You got to show your pearly whites on your profile picture. You have show me some accolades, your educational background, some of the things that you're involved with your company. Just make it make sense, so that, because when you come into it, other vendors within the DLA Vendor Network are going to be looking at your profile as well, to find out if you may be a potential teaming opportunity for them, because you may be in their backyard, you may be within their region, you may have access to certain types of supplies or services or things like that. So just keep that in mind. The LinkedIn community, and it's free, it doesn't cost you anything. The DLA Vendor Network, last I checked, I think we got about 85 or so companies that are in it. My goal was to have it at least 100 companies strong before I really start actively, promoting the DLA Vendor Network to DLA stakeholders, that is, like contracting officers and the small business offices within the DLA, so I can invite them into the community as well. But you got to have a little bit of a community that's already kind of functioning before you start to bring stakeholders into it. So we're still kind of building it. So I'm reaching out to a proud few good men and women who want to take the plunge and trying to figure out how we can form a consortium over on LinkedIn of DLA Vendor Network vendors who want to get the training, who want to execute on those contracts, who want to support the DLA with their mission in supporting our warfighter. And that's really how this is all going to be about. The rest of this year is going to be about having the conversation. All right. Meet me over on LinkedIn, because we got some pretty cool things that are happening weekly within our LinkedIn community. And if you guys are not part of it, you're missing an opportunity at the ground floor to build something that I think is going to be fantastic as we move on throughout this year. Now, you may say, well, hey, is the DLA Vendor Network right for you? Quite frankly, yeah, I'm not sure, but the way we can find out, hey, guess what? You can schedule a 15-minute pre-screening phone call with yours truly, the DLA Guru. All right. In the, well, actually, I don't think I have it in the chat there. Let me go ahead and throw it in the chat. If you are actually in the building right now and you're like, yeah, I'd like to talk to this guy a little bit more, he kind of knows his stuff. All right. The way that you schedule a 15-minute pre-screening phone call with me, let me get the link and I'm just going to drop it in the chat right here for you guys. All right. Go over to my website, which is programs.thedlaguru.com. The link is in the live stream chat right there. Click that link and you'll see a button where you can click to register for a 15-minute pre-screening phone call, so you can talk anything and everything related to your company, where you are in your journey as far as your company, like how far you've gotten with government contracting, what you're thinking about doing with the DLA. And I'll let you know if I have some training programs in place that might be able to assist you with your journey, or I'll let you know that, hey, I don't think that, based on what you're telling me, that the DLA may be a good customer for you. But hey, we've got to have the conversation, right? So that's how you can reach out to talk to me a little bit about that. And of course, as I've always talking about, you want to join me over here in YouTube as a Brigadier General. Looks like we got 3 Brigadier Generals and or Patreon members in the building as of right now. So today it's going to be pretty action-packed. We're going to be talking anything and everything related to the DLA. They're going to be talking about, their solicitations they're going after, national stock numbers that they're looking at. They're talking about vendor development and just having a community focus and trying to network and see if they can talk offline and find ways to team and joint venture and partner. This is what this community is all about. If you're interested in joining us today, pinned in the comment section, you should see a link that you can upgrade your membership to the Brigadier General level. Meet us over here in StreamYard, because we'll be here until about probably a little bit after 1 o'clock today, because I'm kind of over. I'm kind of talking a lot today within this public live stream. And I just want to make sure I'm able to answer as many people's questions as relates to for the time allotted for today's training. All right, so that's typically how you kind of do that. Now, also, if you're to Tina, when she was asking some questions about, hey, how do you get some more training? I also offer the 360-degree DLA Contractor Training Program. When you click the link that's in the chat, it's gonna take you over to the website, thedlaguru.com. And you're going to learn a little bit about my pre-award masterclass. It's an action-packed class that comes within the 360-degree training program. It's going to give you 8 steps to successfully submit bids to the DLA. All right, because the bidding process is not as easy. It's going to tell you step by step what you should do, how to get registered, how to position yourself for success, and submitting bids, because you got to bid to win. It's sort of like the lottery. You got to bid to win. You got to play to win, right? And so the 8th step, the pre-award masterclass is what I like to call it, will help you with that. And then once you get a contract, then you say, well, what the hell do I do now? Well, I offer the post-award masterclass, which is 4 steps to general post-award processes to successfully complete federal supply contracts with the DLA. That also comes within my 360-degree DLA training program. And the number 3, and the one that I'm really, really excited about, because our company is making some strides in this direction, is through custom manufacturing and precision manufacturing of products for the DLA. And within the 360-degree training program, we offer the 4 steps to fast track enhanced, or they call it DEV. They changed the name recently. Same thing, DEV Dev/EJCP certification. It's the 4 steps that typically can get you EJCP certified, where you can download export control technical documents that you can share with your manufacturers in order to figure out, hey, can you build this product? Because no one else seems to be able to build it. Can you build it? Let's talk about it, how we can get this done. And you can submit those. You can submit bids against those types of contracts as well. And so you get that part of my 360-degree training program. And last but not least, for those of you that are like, hey, that's fantastic, we got all the basics behind us, we're just interested in scaling our business. Well, I offer a 90-day challenge. Yes, 90-day challenge with yours truly, DLA Guru, where we'll meet 12 sessions. That is 12 weeks. We're going to be meeting one-on-one on Zoom to talk a little bit about your company, how you can scale your business beyond just being a solopreneur. You'll be able to basically take off my hat, see what's between my ears, and my 20 years of experience that I can help pour into your company to help scale your company in the direction that you'd like to go. I offer that also. And you can find out more details about that on our website, www.thedlaguru.com. All right. And you can find the description also. You can also find the link in the description of this video as well. All right, cool. So got through all of that within 5 minutes. Thank you again for chiming in, watching with me. Oh man, we got four Brigadier Generals. This is going to be a long day today. So we got a lot of folks that are kind of chiming in. And again, I invite you to meet us over here in our closed circuit training. Really looking forward to talking to everyone for the next hour and a half or so. So for those of you out there in the YouTube world, thanks again for watching. Thanks for your likes. Thanks for your support. And thanks for reaching out and wanting to get involved with the world's largest customer, the Defense Logistics Agency. Well, until I see you again, I'll see you at the